Hey guys, this is the professor with Day Trading for Success. So every morning you can see me live stream, usually between 9 to 9:30 up to 10 or even 11 o'clock sometimes. If you want to trade along with me, it's free to come in and watch. You can copy the trades if you want, but I am not a licensed financial advisor, so I suggest you seek the advice of somebody you trust, not just somebody on YouTube, and you do your own due diligence before you try to trade. So what I do every morning, I have a team here and we're in a studio where we trade with a bunch of people, is for the last few months, I've been just trying to show scalping techniques more than just a strategy. It's just a scalping techniques on how I scalp. So today, I actually had a red day during the stream, and then I came back and traded Tesla here and ended up with $150 plus, which is the goal we're going for. I have someone in the studio, Charlie. She handles all the chat from when we do the large share size traders, which I put videos out about as well, which is usually alternative routing to fill our orders because we do such large share size. But you can watch those videos as well if you like. But I trade along with her, and I've been trading along with her so she can learn how to scalp. And my goal is to make sure she's green a certain amount every day. So far for the last 2 months and into this month, that has been the case. I think there was one red day we had, so unfortunately. But so right now we're just going for this month for $150 for her, and we're jumping around with different strategies. Like I've designed brand new scanners to try to find, not strategies, jumping around with different stocks. I got to be careful with the word strategy. Some people think scalping is a strategy, but it's just a way to trade. And I've started to use that terminology that like it's a strategy, but it's not really. But we do use, like from Day Trading Volume 1, the be-all Bible that everybody has on their desk, the RV strategy. We do use a lot of the setups from that as our support and resistance and historical data to scalp. So sometimes it works fantastically and sometimes it doesn't. As you know, you can never trust anything or 100%. So you just try to get as much data in front of you that gives you a better probability of having a good trade. That's all you can really do. The best trader in the world can fail, and the worst trader in the world can succeed. But the longer that you learning how to lose is key. Having a maximum loss per trade, having a maximum loss per day, sticking to those. You stick to those, then eventually 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, some people take 5 years, you're going to start really turning a profit because you're going to pay your dues and you're going to be ready to rock and roll. You're going to pick it all up. So obviously watching whomever, reading whatever you can is going to speed you along. Just be careful, in the end, you're creating your own type of trading, your own strategy. You can't rely on anybody else's that works for them. I know it'd be great if you could, that you just take this, you read this book and watch these videos and you'll be a good trader. That's like saying that a surgeon can just read a book and watch a video and then perform heart surgery on you. It's not the same. It's kind of the same thing, but I mean, it just doesn't work, right? You got to get your hands dirty. You got to get in there and you got to practice. And then what somebody else is doing might not be right for you. So I'm going to go over just briefly how we set up every morning. So stick around. This should be interesting. And then I'm going to show you how we're doing on TraderView, which keeps exact track of the trades and my accuracy. So you can see how that's done. Charles Schwab reports directly into that. So you can see there's a way you can just do all that. So I'll show that too. So stick around. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Day Trading for Success, where the professor, a former math teacher turned full-time trader and coder, guides beginners on how to trade for a living using proven strategies, breakthrough indicators, and lessons from essential trading books. The professor isn't a licensed financial advisor. Always consult a pro before diving into any strategies or demos you see here. Start smart, practice in a simulator, stick to a solid day trading plan, and don't forget to log every trade. Your profits will start with preparation. Thank you for allowing us to share in your journey. Please remember to subscribe, comment, give a thumbs up, and click that notification bell so you can be the first to receive more of our great content.
Hey, so welcome back. Let's go right over to TraderView. This is where traders report So they have verified results. So this is from September 1st to September 4th, and we'll go down to that. So now, right now, we're just trying to get that goal of 150 a day, and then I usually stop on this is a specific account just set up to show scalping and streaming here. So my goal, of course, is to make this green every day, and if it can go beyond that, that's great. And then my accuracy usually runs around 90%. However, this month hasn't been that good. Today, for instance, was only 73%. Had those losing trades. Yesterday was 80%, and then this was 90. This is usually where I run, but I'm gonna have to start doing better. I've been having a little rougher month, but so that's where we're at now. And then the stocks that we traded today, I think I traded Hood. Yeah, that was the one that I did the worst on, 176 down. So I took a couple trades very early, and that killed me. And then on Tesla, well, the first thing I did on Tesla in the morning, I was up like $90, and that kind of made up a little for the 175 down. And then I'm trying to remember the other ones I traded. No, it wasn't Google. Oh yeah, Marvel was down 27. I was just having a bad go of it. That started green. And then it ended up being red. I think there was another one here. Was it Salesforce? No. Trying to remember, guys. Maybe this one? No. Trying to remember where I traded. Was it Apple? Oh yeah, Apple was 53. So between the 175, the 53, and the 20 something or whatever it was on the other one, I was down like $251 or something like that. So we had to make that up with because Tesla already gave me 91 at that point. So anyway, so we had to make that up. I had to get $408 to make the $150 today, and I did this after I traded with the large share size guys. I came back, and Charlie and I worked together, and she's getting better, and we basically just traded this stock fairly quickly. We got it. I did raise my share size though I started it more than with the PDT rule we could trade up to 250 shares. If you only had 25,000 in your account, you can margin up to 100,000. So I went beyond that because I just didn't have the time to get her green quickly. So we worked together and we got out. But that's up to you guys if you want to take that risk. I'm not in a challenge this month. I do try to. Last month was a challenge to stay under the PDT maximum margin of 100,000. I wasn't too far off of it, but it was a bit off of it, because most people have 30 or 35 in their account. I wasn't too far off. But anyway, I find that it's a sweeter spot to go 200, 400, even 800 shares sometimes. But I never went above 400. I think I only did that once or twice, and I took like 10 trades. Anyway, so we got out of this. You're just trying to get baby moves. In this case, with this many shares, I was trying to get $50 or $100. But on the 200 shares, I was trying to get $20, $15, $20, 10 cents on this. You look at the risk oscillator and you're trying to get what it says here. So when I was going up, I think this usually was about where it was. It's a little slow now. But when I was talking earlier about trying to get an edge, the probability of being able to trade better, we're going to go into a strategy of how to set up the charts, but also indicators. There's so many videos about indicators, and you hear people making commercials that you don't need indicators, and that's usually because they're selling something and they don't have the indicators. They're selling you a course, or they're selling you something that's not an indicator, but you need to buy that thing. So you always have to bear that in mind when you hear that indicators are useless. Now, that doesn't mean there's a ton load of traders that do very, very well and don't have anything but a volume up, so that it can be done. Clearly, I can do it. It can be done. But do they give you an edge? Yeah, that's why prop firms hire me to code indicators. So I'm a coder and I code for prop firms. And I have a couple of videos out there that show all these different indicators that prop firms use. So you might want to look at them. I have a lot of links to them, as well as the books that I recommend, like from Mark Douglas or Tom Hogarth or the $1 Million Margin Club. There's a lot of really good books that you should just start with those if you're new, and then maybe not indicators yet, and then look into some of those strategies and that way of trading. Trade in a simulator, and then as you start to feel safer, maybe get with real money. Just do start with one share. Again, I cannot advise you to trade because I'm not licensed to do so. So with every time I give advice, even though I might completely believe it 100%, I need to say, speak to a licensed financial advisor. And that way you can't sue me if you lose your house. So the most important thing is to have a maximum loss per trade and a maximum loss per day, and stick to that and trade and practice in a simulator. Let's go into a basic strategy though. Now, if you want to watch today's stream, it's under today's date. You look in my channel, you look under the live, and you'll see all the streams. And then all the other under videos or playlists, you'll see all the other videos I make that talk about strategy, show you how to set up charts, show you how a lot of them give away free indicators, free layout, so you can just download it. Remember, whenever you're downloading something, you want to highlight the link. Don't press it and go to Think or Swim with it. Highlight it. Then you go into the setup wheel here. Go to the shared item, right? And then you would press, after you highlighted it and pressed copy in the highlight, you press Control V, and it comes in here, you preview it, and then you import it, right? And then it will be inside your studies of whatever chart. I mean, you can open up your studies on any chart, and then you'll find whatever you named it inside there. Like I have a lot of the ones that are MMC, the $1 Million Margin Club, and there, look at them all, right? And then I have some that are just for this channel, which is Day Trading for Success. And there'll be a whole bunch there. And then, of course, Think or Swim has all their own here. And mine will be mixed. I do so much coding for Think or Swim. You'll see mine mixed in through here. But you won't be able to get them usually because they're all proprietary. You need somebody's paid for them, so you need to get a link to get them. But I think most of the ones that I do, and I do give some for free, but most of the ones that I code and do are, they're like, don't spend if somebody's selling some of the professor's indicators or Day Trading for Success, or they look similar, don't spend hundreds of dollars. That's a ripoff. I know that the $1 Million Margin Club just sells all of their indicators for like $24.95, and all of the scanners that I code for only $4.99. So I still believe they're the best. Like this is a custom scanner that I just made available over there that does some pretty amazing things, and even showing the spread here, and then how many shares per 1 minute candle on average of one day, how the percentage you are from the high, and then you can set your columns up any way you want, but these are custom columns here that I put in right up in here. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 custom codes in here. So for $4.99, and this is going to help find stocks that I like to trade, that I think are very viable, that aren't just large caps anymore. Now this is set for this is 10,000 million is 10 billion minimum market cap. So you're going to get bigger ones, but ones that move within an ATR, an average true range, above 3, meaning it's going to get some real movement in there. If you don't understand what that is, start watching some videos. But it's how much the stock will move in dollars and cents over a 14-day period in 1 day here. They've averaged it out, smoothed it. So if it can move that far, like Tesla always moves a lot. When you're trading in a channel, right, you're looking for that movement back and forth. It's going to move a distance that you can, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, or in this case, dollars, that you can get in and out. You don't want to hold it for the entire length, right? So we're going to get into that in just a minute. But this is going to show you per 1 minute candle too, and then what the spread is. Because if you're getting into very high spread, often it's already skewing how many cents it's moving, because I want this to be a minimum of 15 cents. Like a 1 minute candle will move 15 cents. This is coded to do that, a minimum of 15 cents. I have another one that's 20 cents, but I think this is the only one that's available right now. So let's take a little bit closer look. I know I could have confused you here, but when you're looking, I hide the exchanges usually when I trade because I have some alternative routing. It'll actually show my entire account. So that's a problem. Like whatever's up here, the rest will be down here, or the entire thing. So I have to do that. But what you're looking for, this is the level 2. So most people, when they trade, you only see these top 2 numbers, like what somebody's willing to, what somebody wants to get for their shares and what somebody's willing to pay for their shares. They're asking, they're bidding, like an auction, right? And then over here, it's telling you how many shares are available, but you multiply this number by 100 because they want to make it as confusing as possible and can't just put that there, right? Why not just put that there? There's a lot of platforms that do. But the great thing about Thinkorswim is they're free. There's not a penny. You don't get charged a penny to trade on Thinkorswim at all. So it doesn't matter your share size, nothing. They're totally free. So when you consider that and how their platform I'm sure it looks confusing if you're new, but it offers so much. You just take it at your own pace. Start with a chart and some, how to buy on buttons, and you can, you could just start like that and slowly work your way into a more complex layout like this. I have a lot of videos about how to build your own layouts. You might want to check those out. But back to the point. I call this swaling. It's actually a landscaping term about land swaling, but or a farm or a ranch. But you can kind of see how the price action is kind of swaling. These are the people waiting in a queue, kind of. So as this gets bought up in the auction, the rest are just piling on, right? So you can kind of see how this moves. Now, if you're actually doing a momentum trading, which is where you trade off of a news catalyst, they've just reported a new drug has been approved and the stock just takes off like a rocket. What you're doing is you're getting in, so you're buying high because it's already high, and then you're selling higher. You're not looking for buy the dips like you see a lot of mugs like buy the dip. You're not looking for that, right? You're just looking to get in and profit as quick as you can. You might hang on to it and then go up. If you're scalping or day trading, you're usually getting in and getting out, then getting back in and getting out. You're banking your profits, so you've got them, right? Then if it goes against you, just get out. Your max loss, just I'm out, I'm done. Okay, because it might come back, consolidate or whatever. There's all kinds of ways it can move, but that's momentum trading where you're just trying to trade a catalyst. And you'll see people on YouTube that are trading 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, even 50,000 shares. All right, so if it just moves up a couple of pennies, you're making big money. If it moves up $1, you're making $50,000, and you'll see these stocks go from like $6 to $50. So you can imagine if you're dropping 5 or 10,000 shares, how much money you can make. But also you can lose. So that's a dangerous way to trade. So what I'm showing here is a more day trading way that most people will scalp, like small cap, mid cap, large cap, not micro or catalyst moving stocks, news, motivated stocks. Now, we all look for news to get a general bias of how a stock might move that day, and we'll talk about that more in a second. I'm normally on a recap video for the day. I will show the entire stream, but I'm just going to tell you, if you want to see me lose money on a stream, I did that today, and then this is where I recovered here. So I'm showing you the result. I don't actually have every trade. I did have some winning trades on the stream, but it's education from everything, winning, losing. But watch the there's so many, and I run at about a 90% accuracy. So there's something to the strategy. There's something to the indicators, and I invite you to spend some time and check it out. And then again, practice. But so seeing how this is all about the scanner. So the scanner is going to pick up the kind of movement that we wanted. I'm kind of circling back to that. But let's go into a 5-minute, 10-day chart. That's what this is. Now, these are special indicators. This is telling you how the whole market's going. This is telling you how other time frames are going right now. Tesla's all green on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour chart. Everything's kind of going up from what it opened the open session today. So it's all kind of going up right now. So when you would go over to trade it, right? But let's talk about how we set up this. So what you're seeing here is ATR levels. So that's the entire range from the previous day's close. You would expect that stock to move today. If it went its straight range up and it broke that, then that's what they're called trending. You're creating a trend. If you're staying inside the low or the high, then you're basically continuing with the movement that it's been doing, consolidating straight across. Now we're on a stock that's pretty volatile that I'm showing you here, and it often does not stay in its range, but it's pretty close here. Look, I mean, we're not that far out of its range here, so you're looking for stocks that are just moving along like a big snake, a big caravan. You're just moving. And then within those, you're looking for historical data where the stock has abruptly stopped and turned around, where that might be a spot that it will do it again. So when you see those levels, you're like, hey, I'm going to get ready to get in because it's about to stop at that level and go straight up, or I'm about ready to go short or get out of my position because it's coming to its high and it's about to turn around. So, there's ways to look at it. So that's the high, right? This is the half mark. This is used in this particular strategy. And the logic is it's not going to move if it moves its average ATR in a day, right? It's not going to move just in one direction. It's going to move some one way and some another way. So they've just split it in half and created you a more likely area where it will traverse throughout the day, like in here. So if you go to a day chart, this is a full day, right? I have a custom script that actually gives you the levels of half and whole, gives you the price numbers and everything. Well, you should go over to the $1 Million Margin Club and get this free. This script is free right here. This gives you the average of a 1 minute candle. You want it to be like over 100. This is over 200,000 to be a good scalping, and just throw that on any chart. I put it on the day so that when I'm shopping around really quickly, I make sure it's a viable scalping stock. I know Tesla's always going to be, but if you're not getting it from a scanner, then you're going to want to do. I'm not sure why this is saying I have a P&L open right now. That's interesting. That's a malfunction. This is to keep track of my capital. It's like I'm still in a Tesla trade. So just for the heck of it. Okay, I am not in a Tesla trade. Just making sure. I'm going to take a break here. I had my heart go, but it was looking good if I was. That's a different indicator that helps me track if I'm borrowing money from the bank, because Charles Schwab charges you 12% interest. So if you're trading on margin and you're holding overnight, you got to be careful that maybe you're only holding what's in your account. You're not holding margin, because 12% is a lot, and you got to work that into your profit. A lot of people just do it. That's how they trade. But anyway, so you have your ATR levels, which are a form of historical data. But if we open up a 5-minute 10-day, like I just had open a minute ago, and we auto zoom, so it already is zoom. So we go back the full 10 days. We want to find the high and the low of these 10 days. So here it is, right? And then we open up what's called a Fibonacci retracement. So this is from a specific strategy called the RV strategy that thousands upon thousands upon thousands of traders trade. So when you mark these levels, that you're trading with the crowd, that a lot of people are going to respect them. It still means you got to wait and see. You got to wait and see and do your own due diligence. Like, don't just immediately say, there it is. Okay, I'm going to make my move. You got to check indicators, check volume, check, all the data, to see whether the probability is in your favor. So you're slowly learning that over time. But I'm going to go ahead. I've clicked right here because these tools are right on my chart. So I left click once at the level 314.60. I look over here to make sure I've got the right price. So 314.60 takes a minute, sensitive. And then I left click, then I drag over with the mouse to the high. Now it can be low to high or high to low, but it's always left to right. Come on. Now, a second from now, I'm going to say, in just a second, I'm going to just type it in. You can just go in here. If you right-click this, edit properties, you can type in your prices. So that's the other way to do it. Now we're going to get off of this because we've made some levels. And then I have this open down here. You could change the chart time on this. But I have a 5-minute 2-day because I want to mark a 2-day Fibonacci too. That's part of the strategy. So I'm creating tighter channels or levels. So let's go back 2 days and look for the low. There it is. Try to get them both on the same screen. And I'll click the low down here, which is 25.34. The mouse is so, I put it at 37, so I'll type that in. And then 343.33. You know what? I don't even have to go back and do this accurately, but this is what you do. I'll just do it. Okay, so 34. So 25.34. So this should be 34. So you just put a 4 there, and now we're all set. Now I'm going to make this a different color so I don't mix up the 2-day with the 10-day. Now, this is what a specific strategy calls out to do, and the reason why is you're trying to create support and resistance levels. I'm opening up the 10-day again, and we're going to see how that did, right? So here is our price action. Now remember, we didn't mark anything on the day we're trading with. We're just going to see, like, how did these levels from 10 days ago and 2 days ago, how did they play out? Look at that. Oh, I marked it there. Never mind. That's amazing. It stopped right there. That's the 2-day. But the 10-day is close to it. Look how it stopped it right there, right? 10-day. Again, 10-day, right here. 2-day and 10-day right here. 2-day right here. 10-day right here, 2-day right. It's right in the area. So it's creating channels and giving you potential historical data for support and resistance levels. What's going on with my mouse? Well, I'm drifting. I have a bunch of screens open here, guys. So every morning when I trade, by the way, you'll see the ticker go by with stock trivia, a clock up there, so you can see. It makes it easier for everybody because sometimes I have a pretty large group on Zoom, and then I also stream on YouTube. And I will go through marking out what I think are going to be the stocks that we trade. So the next thing you would do for just scalping that I do, and again, you might come up with your own way to do this, is you would do historical data where the stock has abruptly stopped and turned around. So the first thing I do is the candlestick patterns are going to show that, where it stopped and turned around. See, it stopped there, turned around. Stopped here, turned around. So that's what I'm talking about. Stopped here, turned around. That's historical data that you might want to make note of. Stop, 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 turned around. Stopped abruptly, turned around. Stopped abruptly, turned around. That's the story. That's all it is. That's how simple it is. Stopped abruptly, turned around. Stopped again, turned around. So what didn't we pick up? What didn't the fibs pick up? Not too much. Honestly, in the price range we're in here, it's already given us every support and resistance level we might need unless it breaks out of here. I mean, I could look over here and say, like, well, there's a level if you go all the way across, but at the Fibonacci level kind of picked it up. And when you're marking historical data, you're never going to get something to the penny, right? You're just getting guidelines. So if you've already got a guideline that's stronger than this, Fibonacci level is about as historical as it gets. It's called nature's mathematical formula. So and more traders set it up on a 5-minute chart than any other chart for scalping, for day trading. That's what they set it up on. So you're getting, again, trading with the crowd is key. You want to trade with the crowd. Now, if you read Tom Hogarth, A Best Loser Wins, he'll say 95% of the crowd loses, so why would you want to trade with the crowd? Now, he's talking about more day trading than scalping. Short term, what is everybody about to do? Can you figure that out? Because the price will go that way. So if you can figure that out with indicators, historical data, meaning support and resistance, or ATRs, whatever it might be, if you can figure out the probability of the move, you're going to become a profitable trader, because that's the key. Seeing the future, reading what's in front of you to tell you the future. No indicator shows you the future. It only gives you the data that you then have to use the human brain, because AI can't do it yet either, even though people try to sell that stuff. It doesn't exist. But the human brain has to say with all the probability that you have. So I am data driven. The more I can get, the better. But when I trade with professional traders, which I do a lot, almost every day, we just know over time without mucking up the charts a lot or without doing a lot of the historical data. We tune in on what it is, the indicators. We tune in on the EMA crossovers and the SMA crossovers and the convergence divergence and all the Bollinger Bands and everything else that you get indicators to do. Most of us see 95 to 99% of that without a single indicator. I'm not saying it doesn't help, though. Sometimes having them just so simple, an arrow that says that way, why not, right? That way. The stock can go that way. Let's do that. So anyway, guys, now one of the things you're going to see, I'm not selling anything here. If you go to a link and you buy a book through Amazon or somebody, I am going to get a tiny bit of money. So that helps me, but I'm not putting out this information for us to sell you a course. I don't have a course, so I'm just showing you. And I want you to succeed. The whole idea between day trading for success is that hopefully you can make a living day trading. Start out with $50 a day, $100 a day, maybe $200 a day, $500 a day. My goal was much smaller when I started scalping. I used to invest in entire companies, and then when I started to trade publicly traded companies, I did long-term trades, and then finally got down to swing trades, and then eventually got into scalping. Been trading for many, many years, and then when I got into scalping, I had only just $100. I'm just going to go for $100 a day, and now I'm up to $5,000 a day. So as you learn more, that's my goal, and I usually make it. As you learn more, how to trade and how to read, that is not an impossible number to reach, but it takes time. You don't want to rush it. Okay, guys. So let's finish this layout. So that's my 5 minutes are up, and I don't really see any other historical data, but if I were to mark them, I'd go over to the price level tool and I would say like, hey, let's mark where that abruptly turned around. And I'm going to look at that level if the price action comes up here. If there wasn't already a Fibonacci level right here, I would probably mark this level, but it's so close that there's no need, right? Same thing here. I mean, I might go where it churned a couple times below it if I'm really looking to create something, but the fibs really marked it, right? And we're pretty good here. We're pretty good calling this. And I happen to know that they worked really well today because I made the money very, very quickly when I got over to this stock. It wasn't working so well on other stocks. But let's open this chart up for a minute. You can see how I actually might trade. What is marked on here also that's so important is the whole and half dollar levels. Now you can draw these. You can just go in here and you can draw a line right on the level. That's the 50-cent level, right? Just double click and you'll have a level and it remembers like, now why would you want to do that? Well, that's where the crowd goes in and out. They set their trades at whole and half dollars. It's just a human thing. It's just a creature of habit, right? So some people will go, I'm going to go in 3 cents below that or 3 cents above that because everybody else does that. It's still, when you're scalping, it still means that they're in the area where you want to make a decision at the whole and half dollar, So, remember that. So besides having historical data, you also have trading with the crowd off a whole and half dollar. So there's another leg up for you. Mark your Fibonacci's. Mark where the stock abruptly turns around. Look what just happened on this Fibonacci. Look how it just kept turning around, pound, 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 turn around. Then it goes to the whole dollar here, and it turned around. And then it came back, hit it, turned around, came back. Now it's bouncing out now. Now, what is happening here? This is a channel between a whole dollar and a Fibonacci level where you can go short, go long, go short, go long. This repeats hour after hour, day after day. You just kind of find the channel, you look for channel hopping, and you can scalp the same way the RV strategy says to do it. But I always want to have a bias. Like in case I get stuck going the wrong way, like today I traded this as a long bias because it had some news that came in when I was trading it, right? So it had already happened. Actually, I remember these two stories had already happened. This 7% up, this 22% up. Now there's different news. I have a bunch of different news services, 6 screens around me. But I traded as a long biased, and then I would be more inclined to look for dips to go long than I would be to go short. But it doesn't mean I didn't go short because I did. It just depends on, if the price action is helping me. The more data I get, the more likely I am to to read the price data and take a trade. So on this particular thing here, remember you've got the Scalp Meter Pro here too. This particular thing here, I was just going to say, like, I would probably go long off of this level right now. I was thinking about taking a practice trade with you guys, but right now, since it already kind of made that move, I'd be a little hesitant. Also, let's open up the 5 minute here. I already have it opened up here. Hang on. Is this right over? Yeah, there it is. So let me just zoom in on this a little bit. Make that a little bigger. Now, this is a confusing layout, right? I'm just kind of looking at the bigger picture here before I commit to a trade with you guys. I can't grab that, but this is a 15-minute chart down here. So the 5 minutes actually telling me what I need. Let me get rid of that. And I can see now that it was long buys, and now it's dipping down, but it just broke that area on that fib, and now it's dipping back down. So it seems like it might be getting ready to retrace back up. There's the 33.50 mark, which is down here. I might look to go long off that, or I might look to go short off this fib up here. So let's take a look here if there's a trade. So I'll hang with you for just a minute so we can see anything new I need to look at. Now I'm using the Scalp Meter Pro. As you can see, this candle increased the volume of the last, right, which means it's stronger going up right now. This is the risk oscillator, an amazing indicator that's telling me if I was to get into a trade, I only really want to try to go on a 14-cent move here, 14 cent. So, even less would be safer. So don't try to overstay your welcome. That's just a scalping style. And I like this indicator because it's averaging the last 9 candles. So we're looking for probabilities. What is the probability of this trade going the right direction for me? So the fib is a real spot, Fibonacci level, is a real spot where I would go short. But the VWAP, which is an indicator, it's hitting that right now and turning around. Also, you have on here a 9 moving average, a 14, and a 20, for those of you that know a little bit about trading. So this is loaded. This is a loaded chart right now with indicators helping me make decisions. That's a buy-sell oscillator arrow. This over here, this white arrow, is a MACD, right? So you've got all kinds of EMA crossovers, convergence, divergence, and you're basically looking, see how accurate that arrow was? Go down, it went down, right? Go up, it went up. Momentum down, go down. Go up, it went up. So these indicators that are inside here are, it's complicated if you're new, but there's links to go to the $1 Million Margin Club where you can get, there's the whole $50 one, where you can get these different indicators. You don't want to get them until you know what the heck they are, but having an arrow telling you which way to go is pretty helpful. So even though this is going down right now, the MACD is giving confidence to go long in this move. So you'll see price action, but now you've got 67% of the Scalp Pro meter says go up. It would be nice if this volume would break. You have 24 seconds for that to break that. That would confirm it. But honestly, since you're going off that fib right there, which is at 34, I'm going to go ahead and go in to a small trade here to see if it bounces up there again. I'd already rejected. Part of me doesn't want to go short because of the data I'm getting. Yeah, the data that it's giving me there, that it still wants to go up. But the fib says go short. So let me go ahead and see if I can get into that move. So there's my price. It's at 31 now. So if it picks it up at 34, it's really slow right now. So I'm definitely playing with fire right now, but it's only 50 shares. So I'm looking for that to pick up. I don't like the way it's swirling. I'm going to pull out of that move because I'm not stupid. All right. So this is saying to go up here. I don't know. It's debatable whether I'm stupid. I trade, so I might be stupid. This is so slow that me taking a trade with you, that's kind of stupid. But it's changed its mind like 4 times right here, which is what makes scalping can be very difficult because of that. Because when you get conflicting different moves here. So let's look over at the 5 minute here. We've got a channel here where that's what we call a tweezer move. You got to learn your patterns. Oh, by the way, guys, the new book is out, the Candlestick Pattern Playbook. It's all color now. So it broke it. And that's why I didn't want to go short, because it was too much data saying that it was going to go up. You got a 5 minute that sprang up here at the 73 level, which is way up here. That's a 50-cent level. So I would definitely go short at the 35 way up there, but that's a long way. Well, nothing's definite because I want to see what the data is when I get up here. This is the market magnet right here, which is another one you want to watch. And I was kind of looking at that too. So there's the high of that telling you to turn around. So this level here, according to the indicators and historical data, is a much better level to go short with. And then this area down here, where the arrows literally say turn around, is a much better area to go long with. And sometimes you just sit around and you wait a long time. Trading can be really boring. If you get bored and you just jump in, I was jumping in to try to make a point on how it worked. And then I just thought, well, what a terrible lesson to show you a bad trade. So I stopped. Now, bouncing off this fib to go long again is interesting. You know, if I go long off that fib there, 33. Okay, I'll go ahead and go. That looks like it's going to go up to me. So I'm going to take a what we call a retracement, right? Now it's telling me 81% down, but I'm taking a retracement to go up on this move, right? Based on everything I saw, which was a bit of level 2, I'm thinking this is going to go back up. So I already reported to TraderView, so let's hope it's green and not red. But you can see, so the candle action's moving here. It's stopping. I'm looking for the VWAP for support. I'm looking at all these moving averages for support. So I thought it was a pretty good risk. You know, the probabilities were more in my favor that it will continue this move. Now, this is a reversal pattern. This doji did say, hey, look out, it's about to go down. So I had to take that in consideration, you know. So again, I'm riding this generally long. I'm near the top. So, but I basically thought it was going to continue trading long buys. It broke this level. I'm trading long buys. This is still going up, I believe, and it's about to break this level over here. So you look for it to break levels too. So now I'm green a little bit, and I was right. I called it right, and now I don't want to overstay my welcome. Now I would probably have had more than 50 shares. I probably would have had 200 shares, and that would have been like a $20, $25 trade instead of a $4 or $5 trade. So, but that's just an example of scalp, how you take a scalp, looking at the data on the screen and then playing the biased too. So I had a support. I had a bunch of supports off the moving averages. And I thought, you know what? This is just a little retracement. It's going to keep going up. It's going to break this level up here. So I could have stayed in that move for the whole thing, but I just never like to overstay my welcome. I just take the money and then reassess. So my prediction would be it will break this, you know, but it might come down a couple of times first. But I do believe within 5 minutes or so, you're going to see this break out here. Look at these. This is a Scalp Pro meter, something you really should get. If nothing else, get this one thing. See how at the top of the volume bar that the buyers are right at the top? It tells you the percentage inside here, guys. This is not stuff you see a lot around. This is prop firm stuff. So I have that on Day Trading for Success because I code for the prop firms. They own them when they get them. So the only one that I know that sells them is the $1 Million Margin Club. So, you know, check for those links there. And they don't have all of them, but they have a lot of good ones that you might want. Pretty much everything you see here that you might want to get. But anyway, guys, so every morning you can tune in and see me trade live. You can see me call my bias. You can see me fail on occasion. You can see me usually 90% not fail. And you're welcome to trade along. Just remember, you're on your own. I can't trade for you. And I don't recommend you following me or anybody, but you figuring it out and slowly getting into there. Get your feet wet a little bit at a time, until you then become profitable and you start paying your car payment, then your mortgage payment, then you start taking vacations, you quit your job, and so on and so forth. The dream, right? You live in the dream. See, it's pulling back a little bit first before it goes up again. So I think it's going to pull back, then it's going to break through of this historical data. This is just historical data. It's not a whole or half dollar. It's a $0.75. So you can see right here on the ask, that's what the people are trying to get for their shares. See how it's going up? But you might get a little resistance right here. You might get some rejection first. Like if I were to take a trade here, I would wait for a rejection, hope that it comes down here, then I go long. But it might not give me the opportunity. It might just break right through. So you have to kind of decide, well, I'm just going to get in. and there it goes. It just broke through the 73. Boom, there it goes. So, within the 5 minutes, within 2 minutes, here's your big resistance now. Look at that as 335. So when it gets up to 335, you'd want to take this short. I would go short if you don't have an aversion to going short, and at least wait for a partial retracement, make some money, and then go long. These are just tricks that you learn. They don't work all the time. I mean, people can be wrong, but you're just trying to get the probability. Okay, guys, listen, thanks for watching me today. I hope I see you in the mornings. Be careful out there and go green, and I'll see you again soon.